This video is on ballpoint pens, and it's geared more towards the artists because more artists now are using ballpoint pens. And so I wanted to find out which one was light fast, would not fade when exposed to light. Traditionally, artists had used pen and ink like this, where they dip the pen into the ink to draw with. But now artists are more and more turning to ballpoint pens. Since it's easier to draw with, you can just put it in your pocket and you go out there and sketch wherever you want, and you also can make finished works of art without having to dip the pen into ink every time the ink is depleted. So let's go over some of these results here. Now what I did was I did crosshatch all of these with these different pens, and then I put a watercolor paper over this part and cover that up and only expose this part to the sun. And I put it in a waterproof container, and I put it out into the Florida summer sun, and I left it over there for about maybe 2.5 months. And these are the results that I received. First one to look at is the Uniball Vision Ruler, and it's a 7mm pen. And as you can see from the results, it did quite well. I don't see any fading at all over here. So it would seem like that it would be the pen of my choice because it seemed like it did better than all the other pens. This is the package it comes in. And on the back of the package, it says protects against water, fading, and fraud. So the next pen to look at is a Uni Jetstream, and it's made by the same company as the Uniball Vision. It's somewhat of a lighter value than the Uniball Vision Ruler, and I don't see, there's not any fading at all that I can see here. And that pen looks like this. It's a 1mm Jetstream. The next two pens we're going to look at are made by the same company, and they are the Palette G2 pens. And the first one, which is a 1mm here, you can see that it's faded somewhat here. It did better than some of the other pens, but it did not do as well as the Uni pens. So with the 1mm Palette G2, it really did a lot of fading on that one right there. And those pens look like this right here. The gold one is the 1mm, and the white is a 0.38mm pen. The next one on the list is another one made by Uni, and it's called Jetstream, and it's ultra fine. It's 0.38mm, and as you can see right here, it did not have much fading either. Really, I can't see any fading that it did. So these seems to be using the same ink, somewhat ink, the formula for the ink. I don't know what it is, but they seem like they're holding up better. Now, this was interesting, this pen right here. It's the Bic Crystals Extra Smooth pens. It says Bic World's #1 ball pen. A lot of artists likes this pen because it feels good in their hands and the ink flows very well. However, as you can see right here, it almost faded all away. So if you had, say, a drawing and it was framed, and say you had some light coming through the window in the house, it would definitely fade, and after a few months or years, it would completely disappear. Even though all this here was covered by watercolor paper, some of the sunlight filtered through it, and even these lines here was written here, letters were fading also, so even this was fading somewhat. The next pen up is it's not really a pen, it's like a felt. And it's a Tombow brush pen, and it has a felt on the end of it, and it's somewhat, larger lines you get from it. But there was no fading at all. And I suspect that this is probably using the traditional ink they use for centuries, like the Higgins here in this. And it can flow very well because it's got a felt on there. You cannot use this type of formula ink in a ballpoint pen, otherwise it would all run out. It just would not roll very well on the surface. And these has special formulas so that they can perform well. So that is the Tombow brush pen. This is a Sharpie, and this here really surprised me because if you look at this here, the Sharpie, you can see how it was supposed to be, and here you can see it in the sun how it faded a lot. And I was very shocked by that because I thought that when it said it's a permanent marker that meant it was light fast, but it was not. And that explains the reason why I would put some labels on some equipment I have, and sometimes it would be exposed to the sunlight, not direct sunlight, just sunlight in general. And it would fade after a while, and I thought, well, maybe I didn't use the Sharpie on there. Maybe I used some other pen, but I did use the Sharpie on there, and that explains the fading on here. So if you want even a pen to make labels for whatever, and you want them to last, maybe you should use the Uniball Vision rollers in order to make sure it does not fade over time. Now we get to this pen right here, which is the Bic stick. And this was very surprising to me also because a lot of artists like using this pen also. As you can see, even the filter light that got through the watercolor paper, it started fading this here over here. And this is completely gone. So I did not know at first what kind of pen this was because the writing completely disappeared. So I had to tilt it at an angle, and I could see from the indentation in a paper, I could read it, and I seen that it was this pen right here. And so stay away from the big pens is all I can say, unless they come out with a different big pen that has a different formula. But I would definitely test it first before using any big pens. And of course, the last one here is the Higgins ink, and it's no surprise there that since it's a traditional ink, it did not fade at all. Let's see what else. This pen right here, this Tombow pen I was talking about, it comes in this package right here, and that's this pen right here, which it has a fill tip on there. This is the Uniball that comes in the package of 12 here, which was this pen right here. And it says this protects against water, fading, and fraud. So it says it right there on the package there that it will not fade. So, and yeah, that's it here. I hope this would help some of the artists out there, and also some of the people who may not be artists but are using pens and they do not want them to fade over time. So I hope this video was helpful to y'all. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.